Alright, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Hadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity, while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of It's Going Down, being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Violent clashes erupt in Milan with fireworks launched at cops in anti-Olympics protests. So, people's getting sick and tired of the bread and circuses, and the spirit of mirth is dying around the earth. Let's see. Now, before I continue, let's go to second Esdras here. Okay, I see. Second Esdras, yes. And we're going to go to the 9th chapter. Okay, and then let's watch this video here.
Sono sala quelli là, hanno ucciso la montagna e
.144 Kahalayallah Hayanawa Hawa Bahasham Yahweh Shai. So as you saw right there, down in Milan, there was a violent clash that erupted where protesters were throwing and shooting fireworks at the security. Apparently, there was security down there, and it's the mirth is ceasing around the world. Um, just real quick, let's go to Bible. Excuse me, KJV. Okay, the mirth ceaseth. Let's see what pops up here. Okay, so that is Isaiah 24. I wanted to read that in the Blue Letter Bible though, just so I can get different different versions of it. We're gonna go to Isaiah here, 24. Yeah, I guess I can start at 1 because the whole chapter is real good. So let's go to second Esdras here, chapter 9, verse 1. Let's highlight this so everyone can see it. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. And what signs would that be? Signs that would indicate that we are at the end of Esau's kingdom. Because who's ruling the world right now? Job chapter 9 verse 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Going back to the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter, where Esau would be blessed with the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, and by the sword would he live. Okay? Ever since Esau rose up into power in this generation, he has done nothing but rob, murder, okay, RAPE, steal resources from other lands, bomb them, all kinds of wicked and misdeeds, and he's going to keep doing it until he's in chains and shackles when the Messiah returns. So there are signs that points to the Messiah's, which his name is Yahawashai, signs that points to the Messiah's return. Okay, and a matter of fact, I don't know if that's in the book of Luke or if that's in the book of Matthews, but Yahawashai said, when ye shall see these things come to pass, then lift up your heads, and lo, for thy redemption draweth nigh. See what? When you see things like this going on, you know, okay, violent crashes, fireworks protests, you know, even in other countries, people can't even sit down and enjoy their Olympics games because there's too much on their mind. And the Lord is the one that's taking these people out of their comfort bubble. Okay? Now, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, people would have been in an uproar, except in happiness, excitement, satisfaction. They probably would have went home, ate some hot dogs, some cheeseburgers. You know, they would have celebrated having went to the Olympics game. But here it is in the year 2026. Okay, people are getting they're sitting so far on the edge of their seats, they're getting ready to fall off. Okay, so these are all signs of what will happen before the Messiah returns. Okay, these are all signs. Let me see. So let's go to verse 2 now. Second Esdras 9 verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And how's the Lord visiting the earth? He's visiting the earth through biblical prophecy. Okay? Okay? He's visiting the earth through biblical prophecy. Because what did biblical prophecy say what will happen in the midst of the downfall of Esau Edom's empire? There will be riots in the streets, protests in the streets. People would not be at ease. There will be a lack of food, which famine is coming. There will be a lack of food, water, resources. People will be going from house to house, which that hasn't happened yet, but we're getting there. There will be martial law on the streets. There will be distress of nations. Okay, people will rise up against the governments. Cannibalism, newly created beasts being released from these secret underground laboratories and being released on the public. Murder bots, robots. Murder bots and robots that'll be going around terminating people. All these things, man. Animals would be in the streets. I'm talking about wild animals. Okay, lions, tigers, bears, cougars, jaguars, leopards, wolves, and all manner of deadly animals and insects and birds, because even birds are going to be attacking people. Okay? As a matter of fact, I believe there was a creature called the bullet hawk, which basically flies out the sky so fast that when it strikes its target, you don't even see it coming, because it moves so quickly. Okay? Okay, people's going to be forming factions, militias, city against city. People, it's going to be civil wars. All these things are signs and indications of the downfall of the Edomites' empire before the Messiah returns. Okay, so the highest, Yahweh, is visiting the earth through biblical prophecy, and that's what we're witnessing right now. We're seeing prophecy play out of the Holy Scriptures. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Here's your example of earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. And now you got people everywhere protesting against immigration crackdowns. But wait a minute, was not people in Europe protesting, complaining about the immigration crisis? What happened to that? Now they're protesting, now they're protesting against immigration crackdown, global immigration crackdowns. You know, so yeah, man, this world is in an uproar right now. As you see right here, Second Esdras 9:3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Okay. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So now if we come over here, Isaiah 24, verse 1, and read down to 8. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty. And the earth is not empty in the sense that there's no people, there's no animals, because there's people, there's animals, there's insects, there's trees, there's grass, bushes, there's birds, even in the oceans, you got the marine life. These things are everywhere, okay? Buildings, businesses, these things are everywhere. So the earth is not empty in the sense that there's nothing living or existing on it. The earth is empty because it is not being ruled or ran by the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures. Okay? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And the wicked does not uphold the moral values of the Heavenly Father. They uphold their own values. And we all know what the Holy Scriptures say about he that trusteth in his heart. Okay? Because the mind is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Okay? Jeremiah 17 verse 9. The mind, the heart, which the word heart goes back to the Hebrew word lob, which means your mind. Okay? The mind is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? You see that? Who can know the mind? Okay? So, your mind would tell you that it's okay to eat pork because it's kosher when the Bible tells you it's unclean and you should have their carcasses, which a carcass is basically a body without a spirit. Okay? So you should have the carcass of the swine and abomination, right? Your mind would tell you that it's okay to commit adultery as long as nobody finds out, right? When Leviticus, the 20th chapter, tells you that adultery is a sin unto death. So just giving you some examples of how the heart is deceitful. Those who live after the heart, meaning that they live a carnal mind, they live a carnal life. You're smoking, you're getting lineups because you believe that you can sin and everything will be okay because God will forgive you, right? And this is what your mind has taught you to believe because the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. And we know, because the word carnal means physical or fleshly. We all know that the self-proclaimed white man, who are the biblical Edomites, which starts with the so-called elites who call themselves Rothschilds or Rockefellers, okay, we know that they are carnal creatures. They are fleshly creatures. Esau lives after the manner of his own mind. This is why here in America, there is no justice. There is no righteous values. There is judgments are not executed. Judgments are not executed in the earth, period. Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, which are the Edomites. Because Esau does not uphold the moral codes, the righteous moral codes of the Holy Scriptures. He upholds his own codes. And as a matter of fact, America justice system goes by something called a penal code. And if you break that penal code, you get penalized for it, you know? Like for an example, if a man rapes a woman, he gets thrown under the prison. He's basically sitting in prison for 30 something years. Where in the Bible does it says to lock up a man for raping a woman? Okay, if the woman is a virgin, right, according to Deuteronomy the 22nd chapter, he has to pay 50 shekels of silver to her father, and he's not allowed to put her away all the days of his life. But now, if the woman was espoused to another man and he raped her, he's supposed to be put to death. Now, if the woman cried out for help and no one came to her rescue, okay, her life was spared. But if she didn't cry out for it, then it is assumed that she was with it. So then she was put to death. But here in America, nah, you get locked up for 30. You get 30 to 40 years. You know, and that's a part of Esau's penal code. If you commit adultery, adultery is basically when they according to Esau's penal code, right? Adultery is when a man uh, sleeps around with another woman. You know, Esau calls that a adultery and breaking wedlock. Now, where in the Holy Scriptures does it say if a man sleeps around with another woman outside of his wife, he committed wedlock and he committed adultery? You're not going to find that in the Scriptures, because a man can have more than one woman. As long as the woman is a virgin, as long as she's not espoused to any man, he can technically have more than one woman. But anyways, coming back over here, okay? So the earth is empty because there is no truth, nor justice, nor righteousness in the earth. So the earth is empty of righteous moral code. You know, everywhere you look, you always got somebody smoking. You got somebody driving a car that pollutes the air. You got GMO foods all over the damn place here in America. Okay, you got moles walking around. You could be looking at a homosexual and not even know he's a homosexual. You know, you don't even know if you're looking at a man or a woman nowadays, because women can now take hormone pills to make her voice deep. And basically grow out facial hair. And all she got to do is walk around quiet, and you wouldn't even know you're looking at a female. So this earth is empty, man. You got pork that's allowed to be sold in many other countries outside of America. You know, you got murder going on every day, kidnappings going on. Okay, you got 4 and 5 year old children being sold into sex slavery. Grown adults who get kidnapped, abducted, is being sold into sex slavery, being sold into literal slavery, where they're working in salt mines, diamond mines. No, they got them in different mines, digging for precious stones, precious gemstones. You know? So this earth is empty, man. So behold, Isaiah 24:1, behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priests. See, I don't need to read verse 2. Let's skip down here. Okay. Isaiah 24:3. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for Yahweh hath spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish. So the earth is fading away, the world is languishing and fading away. Every time you turn around, you go to work, you got people limping, you got people looking tired as hell. People just look miserable, man. You could tell people is sick of living. Because when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Is the world in a state of rejoicing? No, the world is in a state of languishing and fading away. Why? Because when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And the whole world is in a state of mourning. Animals got to leave their habitats and go to different locations to live because Esau wants to start fires and shit to burn down forests. Using his dew of heaven from above that he was blessed with by Isaac. Okay, you know you got bees dying at alarming rates. I have not seen a bee in a very long time. I think the last time I actually saw a bee, a bumblebee or whatever, might have been 14, 15 years ago. Come on, man. 14, 15 years ago? Bees should be in large abundances. You know? And technically, bees should be everywhere. Okay? You don't even see bees flying around trash cans anymore, man. Remember when you used to take out the garbage in your neighborhood? Bees used to be swarming around the trash cans and all that. You don't even see that shit no more. Why? Because you got all these cell towers. You got these 5G towers. Now they're talking about 6G towers. And birds are dropping dead from 5G towers. So it's like, come on, man. You know? But you got people who would swear up and down that Esau is not the wicked, right? The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, and this is why the earth is empty, because they have transgressed the laws. Who have transgressed the laws? Esau did, man. Okay? Changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. And really, really, if you really want to be technical, this is really talking about our people, because we were given the order as to how the earth was to be managed, maintained, and ruled, right? But we the Israelites, right? The Israelites, have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. And because of this, what happened? We lost our position. We lost our position in ruling and basically being a light to the world, so to speak. And so we were kicked out of the land of Israel, which is our land. And basically, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, which are the biblical Edomites. Therefore, have the curse devoured the earth, and Esau is a cursed creature. And every day he is devouring the earth. If he's not fracking, which is causing earthquakes, he's spraying chemicals in the air that destroys the air. That creates a sunlight reflecting clouds and shit. Okay, he's manipulating the weather. You know, creating forest fires. You know, poisoning the water by dumping landfills of millions of gallons of trash in the ocean, dumping metals, toxins, nuclear waste, nuclear radiations in the oceans. And then people wonder why fishes keep beaching themselves with two heads. You got sea creatures beaching themselves because their bodies are not obtaining enough oxygen from the water in order to actually live in it. Okay? And they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth and languish. All the merry hearted do sigh. Because it's like, even if you do drink wine, you know, you drinking wine, you're having a good time, and then a sudden thought come in your head. I gotta be up in damn near 8 hours just to go to work. So you're like, you know, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm about to go home, take a shower, and lay down and go to work. And then you go to work, it's grievous because everyone around you just seem depressed. They seem down, they're limping, they have no energy, you know. And you could tell, just like when they look at the cash register, while they're looking at the customer's products while scanning them, you know, there's no life in their eyes. They're just looking at the products, just praying, hoping that time is just flying by for every customer they take care of. No one is happy on this planet because the earth is not a paradise. It's not a paradise because it's being ruled by the wicked. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth. The noise of them that rejoiceth endeth. The noise of them that rejoiceth endeth. You don't hear people rejoicing anymore. You know? Here it is. This is supposed to be a time of rejoicing, right? Because you got the Olympics game going on. You got the Super Bowl going on. And yet, this is the type of shit you see happening right after the Olympics game. Okay. Isaiah 24:8. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, right? The noise of them that rejoiceth endeth. The joy of harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Okay. So we're at the end of Esau Edom's empire. With that, I'm going to say Shalom is on to the next one. It's going down.